So our track Inside of a Dream began as an instrumental that I had written, and Virtue came to me with some lyrics, and we began to develop them together in the studio.
Yeah, so lyric-wise, we just kind of worked it out with the instrumental and fit the lyrics in where they felt right with the music. So we worked on this together, kind of just piecing the lyrics in, and that's how it worked out.
And the theme that we sort of came up with for the track kind of ended up as a meta Inception type of thing, which was not on purpose and pretty cool, but we had fun writing it, and we hope you guys like it.
Yeah, hope you like it.
So here we are inside the project file for Inside of a Dream, and I work in FL Studio, as you can see, and I'm just going to take you through some of the important elements that make this track what it is. So I'll begin down here with Virtue's vocals, which are doubled in certain areas for emphasis, and there are also varying amounts of reverb, delay, and filtering automated throughout the track to kind of help it move from phrase to phrase. So I'll play some of those clips for you.
Deeper, what's inside? Tell me what's behind your mind's eye. Dig deeper. Can you show me what's inside?
And I will show you the processing chain for those vocals. We have that right down here. First and foremost, auto-tune. For that, I'm using M Auto Pitch. It's a great free plugin. Works really well. Highly recommend it. Followed by some reductive EQ. Followed by some de-essing using FabFilter's dynamic EQ feature. Some compression, delay, reverb, saturation, some more EQ, some sidechain with shaper box, and some filtering. Moving along, next probably most prominent element in the track is the main riff, which we have right here. I'll play that for you. And for that, I have reverb and delay automated at key points as the phrases transition into each other. Kind of just helps the track along, build some tension. And I'll show you my processing chain for that. Find that sound. I believe I have this routed into a group because I think I was using a second sound that I layered it with, but ultimately decided against it. On the original sound, that is a diva patch, I have some reductive EQ, followed by some saturation, some more reductive EQ, compression, additive EQ, some sidechain, and I'm using Track Spacer to dip the volume of this sound when another sound that I have routed to this channel plays. Track Spacer is like a $50 plugin. It's great for clearing space in your mix, works really well. Followed by some filtering and a volume control plugin that I ride the gain on through different parts of the song. An interesting thing about this main riff is that it changes completely during drop 2 as compared to drop 1. I knew that something had to be different in drop 2, but I felt like I had run out of space in the track. So I changed an existing element, which is a pretty great strategy sometimes. And I'll play this one for you. Cool. Moving along, another prominent element in the track is the bass, which is it's got a pretty strong glide on it, which I really like. As it transitions from note to note, creates a pretty interesting sound. I'll play that for you. And what's interesting about this pattern is it is written in a phrase of 32 bars. I normally work in 8s or 16s, but for this particular track, I felt like there had to be a bigger change halfway through the drop phrase. So again, rather than add another element, I did that by changing an existing element. So I'll play the second half for you, and you'll be able to hear that it's quite different from the first half. Okay, moving along to the next interesting thing about the track. There are just a ton of tonal effects and percussion hits and incidentals and one-shots, and I really go ham with these when trying to fill space in a track because they take up no CPU and they can be tuned to the key of the track, and it's just really useful space fillers. So I'll play some of these for you when they're all playing together. And I'll add some of the tonal effects as well, so you can hear what it all sounds like together. Yeah, as you can see, I don't really work in too much of an organized way or a linear way, but somehow it all manages to get done. I'm not sure how. Beyond that, one of the things that I do in most of my tracks, as I've done here, is like an ethereal, very reverby, atmospheric loop. This was just something I found in a sample pack, but I feel like it fills the background space really nicely. And then I have the pad sitting right above that in terms of frequency, and together they sound like. Fills the background space really nicely. Another thing I wanted to point out is that I'm using a different bass for the break than I am for the rest of the track. Again, just to provide a little bit more of a change. And I'll play this one for you. And with this sound, to get it nice and wide, I have two instances of it, one panned hard left and one panned hard right. And normally this type of thing would cause phasing issues, but to get around that, in one of the sounds, I nudged the notes just ever so slightly forward, so the phasing, it never aligns. So you can still get a nice wide sound without any phasing issues. Beyond that, there's a little ARP that I use in the breakdown. That's Diva Patch, I believe. And I'll just take a look at how that was processed real fast. Here we go, some saturation, reductive EQ, compression, additive EQ, an auto pan from side to side to give it some space, some side chain, and again, 2 instances of track spacer. I believe I have 2 different elements routed to this sound, making this dip whenever those hit, because this is kind of a background sound, and whatever those 2 other elements are, if I can find them, I guess I felt like they took precedence, and followed by some filtering. Again, I can't emphasize enough how useful track spacer is when I do my mixing. And everything together, I think, works really nicely in conjunction.
What's behind your mind's eye? Dig deeper. Can you show me what's inside? Stay with me.
Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you like the track. Peace.